This is the new Ferrari hardtop version of the Portofino, and it's a little bit like Giorgio Armani aftershave because it's aroma. See what I did there? Aroma. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk you through the exterior design, the interior, the practicality. I'm going to tell you what's good about it, what's not so good about it. I'm probably going to do some donuts in it, even though it's not mine. And of course, I'm going to launch it to see how quick it is from 0 to 60 miles an hour and over the standing quarter mile. Because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching CarWow. Hell yeah. Let's start this video by talking about the design of the Roma, because Ferrari still manages to design great looking engines. I'm actually starting with the engine because I want to warm my hands because it's so cold today. Oh yeah. Well, I may as well tell you about the stats. So it's a 3.9 litre twin turbo V8 which drives the rear wheels via an 8-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox. This thing puts out 620 horsepower and 760 newton meters of torque, and it's supposed to be capable of 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, but we'll find out about that a bit later in the video when I launch the car. Oh, it's better. Oh, it's also front mid-mounted, which means it's behind the front axle for improved weight distribution. None of you hanging out over the front for understeer nonsense. This is a Ferrari after all. Now let's talk about the design properly, and I haven't needed to bring the CarWow stick of truth with me today because there's no fakery on this Ferrari. Ferrari don't mess around with that stuff. For instance, look, 4 exhaust pipes, all of which are real, all of which are beautiful. In fact, the rear end of this car is absolutely stunning. Moving down the side, this is based on the Portofino, but obviously it's got a hard top coupe body. It's also ever so slightly wider and sits low to the ground. It just makes it look meaner. This side profile sort of reminds me of another sports car. I can't quite remember which it is. Moving to the front, yeah, this is a real stunning nose, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Ferrari calls this design language La Nuovo Dolce Vita, which means the new sweet life. And I love the look of it. Wait a minute. This car is either owned by James Bond or someone called Ken. Most likely someone called Ken. 007, that's what this car reminds me of. Looks a little bit like an Aston Martin Vantage with hints of Jaguar F-Type. I wonder if the Italians were like, you know, we should copy the British. It looks good, the Aston and the Jaguar, but as we're Italian, we'll make it look better. And they have. Now let's talk about the price. So the Ferrari Roma starts at £171,000. However, if you've just bought one and you want to sell it, you can now sell it for £200,000. Such is the case with used cars, fetching a lot more money than they used to because of the chip shortage. So does the Roma feel like a car that's worth £171,000? Well, I have to say, here on the inside, yes, it does. So the design is really nice. Quality feels good. It feels very sporty as well. I love the steering wheel. Carbon fibre on this one with shift-up lights, big carbon fibre gear shift paddles. You've also got a huge digital driver's display. It's nice and clear. However, it's not the easiest to use, and it is a little bit slow to respond and laggy. Yeah, they should have put a better processor chip in this because that's not as fast as a car that is as fast as this deserves. You've also got the central infotainment screen here as well, which does your climate and your audio and your sat nav. I quite like the design of that. It's big enough, but one thing that I'm really not happy about, these touch sensitive buttons here. Now it's a bit like what Mercedes do in the S-Class, but you know, Mercedes can't get it right. So do you think Ferrari are going to be able to? No, they're even worse than in the Mercedes. Oh well. I do like this though. The gear selector here, it's sort of like an open manual gate. It's a real nod to that. It's very, very nice. Seats are good as well, as is the seating position. A Ferrari always nails that. What they don't nail is this, look. Look at the quality of that. Look at that. 171 grand starting. Still. You got some storage in this one, and this is lined, so this feels more expensive. And oh, look at that, you can actually get a little display for the passenger, and you can have information such as your sat nav and stuff like that, as well as performance, so they can see how quick you're going and how many revs you're pulling as well. There's some more door bins here, but you're not going to fit anything in those. They're quite tiny, and there's a bit of storage there, which is a bit more useful. These little slots there, which I don't know. Can you fit your mobile phone? No, you can't. You can probably fit a normal size mobile phone, but not a big Samsung Fold. Speaking of which, you can't get Android Auto with this car. Now you can have Apple CarPlay, though it's a £2,400 option. Which is quite a lot, isn't it? Anyway, let's check out the back seats. Yes, the back seats. This is a 2+2. I've never got into the back of this before. Let's see what happens. Come on, seat, move out the way. Come on. Come on. Okay, right. There's actually ISOFIX anchor points here, so you could fit a child seat in the back apparently. Right, how's this going to play out? How's this? Stop, please. Yeah, thank God it did that. Actually, it's not great, but it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. You could do a little short hop in this, maybe to the shop. It's not quite as roomy as a Bentley Continental GT. In fact, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out button up there. I'll follow the link in the description below. But this is nowhere near as as I thought it was going to be. Actually, Simon, can you just jump into the front, see if you can actually get comfy in the driver's seat? We need to test this properly. No, this is cutting-edge journalism, this. Could you drive that?
Very bent-legged, but just about.
Okay, well there we go. This is an odd position to be in. Let's talk about the boot. These kind of cars don't have very big boots, but this one isn't too bad. 272 litres, which is about the same as a city car, but it's better than you get with an Aston Martin DB11 or a Porsche 911 Turbo, because obviously that's just got like that front boot. Look, there's no load lip either, so you can slide things in and out. Oh, practicality in the Ferrari. And look, tie down points. Yay. You know what? You can actually get an option where you can fold down the rear seats, which gives you then 345 litres of space. But you have to tick it when you're buying the car and pay extra. Don't know why it's not standard. It's annoying. In fact, it brings me on to 5 annoying things about this car. The touch sensitive stop start button means you can accidentally touch it like that, then all of a sudden your ignition comes on. Oh, I have to turn the radio down. And it's even worse, that's better, if you've got your foot on the brake, because then this happens. You shouldn't be able to do that. It should be a real, like, conscious press a button to start an engine, surely. An expensive looking car should have an expensive looking key, and at first glance the Roma's is. Look, it's got this leather rectangle with Roma badge there, but it's just stuck onto this cheap and nasty piece of plastic key. I mean, this is horrendous. It looks like it's come out of a Christmas cracker. Brand new car, and it makes this noise when you put the window up and down. Listen. Let's say it's been raining. So rain. Then you open the boot and just look, can you see it dripping in? See that just dripping in? Oh dear. Oh, wet luggage. The door handles seem like quite a neat idea in the way that they're flush, but then you just push your hand in there to open it. However, if you suddenly go for the door handle without thinking, you can, as I just did, just grab it there, and then your finger now can go underneath that bit, and it just, look, it actually just pushes your fingernail back, and it's like a, I'm just going to stop bleeding, that is. Don't worry, there's still plenty to like about this car. Here's the carwow 5 core features. I love this little detail, look. When you change the gear selector from manual to automatic, press the button, and you get this little red LED light that's almost like a laser going into the letter, causing the letter to change colour. Look, zoom, zoom, zoom. It's just so satisfying. I needed to add my own sound effect. Zoom. While loads of manufacturers have very muted engines with soft limiters and turbochargers just ruining the noise, not with a Ferrari. Go on, start it up. Oh yeah, let's have some revs. Let's have a bit more. That's enough, that's enough. Yeah, it sounds awesome. Most car satellite navigation will give you 3 route options. They'll give you the quickest, the shortest, and the most eco-friendly. You get 3 options with this, but while you have fast and the shortest, you don't have eco, you have fun. It'll actually plot you the most fun route. Look, this is my journey into Buckingham Palace, because I've got to see the Queen later for my knighthood, and it's chosen a fun route there, so I'll be taking that, thank you very much. I love the way the car's spoiler has been integrated beautifully into the bodywork. It's so seamless, and when you're going over a certain speed it pops up, and it also acts as an air brake. Sexy lines. In a lot of cars you toggle through the different driving modes, either through a touch screen or some innocuous boring button. On this Ferrari you have something that's called the Manettino switch, and it's lovely anodized metal, and you just rotate it through different modes. We've got wet, comfort, sport and race. Now race uses a special computer program which controls the car's electronic differential, the brakes and stuff, to allow you to slide without getting into too much trouble. So you can look like a hero even if you're a bit of a zero. If you are a true hero though, you can of course turn the stability all the way off. which means donuts. I fancy some donuts. Okay, let's take this Ferrari Roma for a drive. And first things first, let's talk about practicalities. So you've got a big windscreen. And even though you've got a long bonnet, it's quite easy to place the front of the car because the wings pop up and it gives you some way of aiming. Door mirrors are large as well, and for a sporty car, the view at the back is surprisingly good. The only problem is this big pillar here, which does create quite a blind spot. But enough of that nonsense. Let's go into manual mode, take control, and have a proper drive. But that is the thing about the Roma. You can drive it around town every day. It's quite an everyday Ferrari. And that brings you onto the suspension because it's firm like you'd expect a sporty car to be, but it's actually all right over bumps. I'm going to drive it over these pretty aggressive bumps here on this twisty road. And that, you know, you can tell the body is stiff, which is a good thing. And that means the suspension doesn't need to be quite so stiff. That wasn't bad. You can actually get adaptive dampers for this, which have a bumpy mode setting, and I probably would just fit them just because, but really you don't actually need it. Anyhow, twisty road, so it's a bit of fun. Now, sometimes in previous Ferraris, the steering has felt a little bit twitchy, a little bit overexcited. You know, you turn the wheel a bit and it's like, oh, you want me to go that way? And it's like kind of just like darting. Whereas this is more progressive, more natural. I like it. You can get into a flow with this car, just flow along the road. Obviously the gearbox, oh my gosh. This is a responsive dual clutch gearbox. It's good in auto mode, but really you want to drive it in manual, take control. And it helps that the pedals are nice and big because you can always hit the gear change when you want it. Not that you need to change gears loads in this car because the engine is really punchy, really punchy, which is good because that means that you can really control the car on the throttle quite easily. And the body itself, nice and flat in the bends, really trustworthy, plenty of grip as well. And the brakes, carbon ceramics are standard like with every Ferrari, not grabby at all, nice and progressive. They do carbon ceramics so well. All in all, this is a very nice sporty car to drive when you're getting to your destination, or you know, you're having to take the motorway. It works well then as well. So whack it into automatic, sit back, let the gearbox do its thing, cruise along, put your cruise control on. The big wheels and tyres do kick up a bit of road noise. I don't think it's worse than a Porsche 911, it's probably slightly better actually. It's not as quiet as a Bentley Continental GT, but then this is sportier feeling. It's lighter as well. It's actually 100 kilos lighter than the Portofino on which it's based, which does make it feel more responsive. You can do loads of miles in this, have fun in this, poodle around town and look cool in this. It does all that you want it to. It really does. Shall we launch it now then? Let's do it. Right, let's see what this thing can do 0 to 60 in. It's very greasy out there. I'm a little bit frightened as well. Let's do it. Considering it's skidding around as it is. Oh my God, this is just loose. Right, this track is like ice. There's bits of traction, then there's none, and 0 to 60 was 4.17 seconds. And standing quarter 11.85. I know this thing is quicker, but it's sketchy. Had to launch it in sport mode because otherwise it's just going to step out sideways and there's barriers either side. I don't want to smashing into one of those. So 4.7 when it's greasy, and this is a high performance rear wheel drive car, isn't too bad. I want to get it in the dry and see what it's like then. That's for another day though. So then, what's my final verdict on the Ferrari Roma? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Roma. It's fast, it's fun, and it looks fabulous. It could just do with being a little bit more comfortable for long distance journeys. Less noisy, a bit more practical, a bit more like a Bentley Continental GT.